Welcome to another episode of Ken Fashion Journey. Today we have a special request from one of our regular weekly viewers whereby he inquired why the mobster and their lawyers always dress up very smart and sharp. Now let's come and check it out. Almost when we talk about mobster, you're talking about organized crimes, and then of course they always will have an advisor who is a lawyer to advise them on how to beat the law. So what happens is that practically the mobster and the lawyers, they dress mostly identical. And from my experience is that pertaining to all these mobster and lawyers dressing, it's all being influenced by the great movies from Hollywood, especially this movie called The Once Upon a Time in America. And of course there is The Godfather, and then there goes the Bonnie and Clyde, and then we have the Goodfellas, and of course then we have Peaky Blinders, which is more current. Now from my own personal intuition by watching all these movies is that let's talk about Once Upon a Time in America, whereby the entire group of boys, where they all started off from the slums, and then they were wearing very poor clothes. Once they make some money, they want to show that they have really made it. That's why from boys, they start to dress up much better when they move into teenagers. And then from there, when they went on to become more aggressive in their dealings, they start to dress up in full suits and with all fully attired things like fedora and the total works. Why they dress up well also is to show that they are successful, and of course they also want to show that they have power. Normally they are not really that good in their speech because they are not really fully educated. That's why they have to use their dressing as a way out, whereby a picture will paint 1,000 words. That means when they look at you, the first impression, you dress up so sharp, they will be people, their opposing opponent will be afraid. And then the next thing is that I learned further is from the illustrate. What I learned from the magazine, I have to go to my resources, which is my collection of GQ magazine. And then I have this issue from 1985, whereby the cover is that they have the young Helmut Jahn. That was back in 1985. And as you know, Mr. Helmut Jahn, he's the world-famous, world-renowned architect who designed majority of the major buildings and prominent buildings in the city of Chicago. And it was said that he went home and left the world in 2021. So what I learned from Helmut Jahn is that it is to dress to kill. That was his motto. So in a way, when I refer back to all the movies about mobster and their lawyers, is that yeah, they have to dress to kill to get what they want. And then we move on to 1990. There is when Andy Garcia starred as the next Godfather. This is the 1990 issue of the GQ magazine, and he put there killer style, clothes you can't refuse. So actually the tagline for the Godfather is that I'll make you a deal which you cannot refuse. So he said, he say over here, killer style, clothes you can't refuse. And I was totally inspired by it. Coming down to look at it is that I was very inspired by Helmut Jahn and his fedora. That's why I got myself a fedora. And then from Andy Garcia, he is wearing Giorgio Armani, and then with all the Armani ties. So this is the host of collection of the Armani ties, which is very retro. It also date back to the 1920s and the 1930s. Now, during the time whereby you talk about the mobster, whereby they are at the peak, that was during the 1930s. They call it the elegant 30s, whereby men's dressing was at its peak. So I was really very inspired from the movies. That's why foremost, I got myself the black fedora. This black fedora, as you can see, is all being highlighted in the movies, even like Luca Chandretti, who was wearing the pinstripe suit. He was wearing the black fedora And also he wore the Homburg. Homburg is a hat whereby it's very difficult to carry. Only certain people can carry it. And Luca Changrati in the movie or the series on Netflix, The Peaky Blinders, he carried it immaculately and elegantly and looked so natural. And also another very prominent item in the mobster type of dressing is that to obtain the killer look or the dressing or the dress to kill look is to have a dark pinstripe suit, as you can see in numerous movies. Especially it started with The Godfather, Robert De Niro, he wore the pinstripe suit. Coming down to, as you can see, James Wood and Robert De Niro in Once Upon a Time in America, they also wore the pinstripe suits. And then also like Warren Beatty in Bonnie and Clyde also wore the pinstripe suit. And you look at Luca Changrati also put on the pinstripe suit. And very important, the person who started the word, the late Mr. Helmut Jahn, also wore a pinstripe suit. This is really fantastic. That's why I have to get myself a pinstripe suit. This is a 3-piece pinstripe suit. Should you want to get a pinstripe suit, do get a 3-piece pinstripe suit. And also in the occasion, you can always mix and match very easily. You can have the power look, and also you can have the dress to kill look with the pinstripe suit. See, Adrian Brody also, he wore a pinstripe suit when he goes for a function. So it is a very easy and a must-have item for the gentleman. And also during that time in the 1920s, the ties, they are all very bold, with very bold prints. And also for the mobster, they will always go for the best wool material, the finest woolen cloth, they can find. And also when you come to necktie, it must always be silk, Yes, and then they will wear the finest cotton shirts to go with their outfit, is to show that they have made it and not to disgrace themselves or their entire gang. So as you know, that I'm really totally very inspired by the mobster look, because it's the elegant 30s. And the elegant 30s is that is the most prestigious and elegant time for a gentleman, especially in terms of menswear. I hope you like this episode of Ken Fashion Journey. Do give me a like button and press the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. And I look forward to see you in the next episode of Ken Fashion Journey. Bye.